Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys Nation, today we're diving deep into a story that has been creating waves across the NFL landscape, especially among fans of America's team. The Dallas Cowboys, a franchise with a storied history and one of the most passionate fan bases in all of sports, are currently embroiled in a significant coaching search that could define their future trajectory. Specifically, we're talking about their quest for a new defensive coordinator, a move that on the surface might seem like just another administrative shuffle, but in reality, it could have monumental implications for the team's defensive identity, their playoff chances, and even the long-term stability of the franchise. Now, why is this coaching search so critical? Well, if you've been paying attention to the Cowboys' recent performances, especially defensively, you know that the unit has been far from their best in 2025. They surrendered a league-worst 276 passing yards, a figure that is almost incomprehensible. For context, in the NFL, where passing is king and offenses are increasingly aerial, giving up over 4,000 yards through the air in a single season is almost a guarantee of disaster. It's a clear indicator that something needs to change, something strategic, something schematic, perhaps even a complete overhaul of their defensive philosophy. The Cowboys have cast a wide net, interviewing multiple candidates, but what's interesting is the focus they've placed on coaches with expertise in pass defense. It's a logical approach, considering the league's evolution and the fact that offensive coordinators and quarterbacks are becoming more sophisticated by the year. If you want to beat the best teams, you need to have a defense that can adapt, that can match the speed and complexity of modern NFL offenses. The emphasis on pass defense indicates that the Cowboys are prioritizing a more aggressive, perhaps more creative approach to defending the aerial attack, something that, frankly, they desperately need. Among the candidates they've interviewed, one name has emerged as particularly intriguing: Jim Leonhard, who is currently serving as the assistant head coach and pass game coordinator for the Denver Broncos. This isn't just a random name tossed into the mix. Leonhard has been gaining recognition as a rising star in coaching circles. His reputation is built on a combination of smart scheming, player development, and a proven ability to adapt defenses to the strengths of his personnel. When you hear that he's considered a favorite for Dallas, it makes sense. He's young, innovative, and has a background that suggests he could bring a fresh perspective to the Cowboys' defense. Brad Gagnon of Bleacher Report has made a compelling case for Leonhard. He describes him as a coach on the rise, someone who could be a breath of fresh air for the Dallas defense, which has struggled to contain the aerial assault in recent years. The stats at Denver speak volumes. As a pass game coordinator, Leonhard has shown an aptitude for designing schemes that challenge quarterbacks and disrupt passing lanes. But what makes him an even more attractive candidate is his experience at the college level, where he learned to build defensive schemes from the ground up, and his ability to develop players in the NFL, turning raw talent into reliable contributors. However, the Cowboys are not just looking at Leonhard in isolation. There's an understanding that they need to weigh their options carefully, especially given the high stakes involved. Another candidate often mentioned in discussions is Brian Flores, who has enjoyed considerable success with the Minnesota Vikings. The challenge here is that Flores is unlikely to make a lateral move from Minnesota, given his recent track record and the respect he commands league-wide. So if Dallas can't land Flores, Leonhard becomes a very appealing alternative, someone who can bring a similar level of strategic acumen and defensive toughness. But what about the in-house options? This is where things get particularly interesting. The Cowboys' defensive line coach Aaron Whiteketon has also been floated as a backup plan. Whiteketon, who was with the team starting in 2025, has a diverse background, having spent 4 seasons working with Quinnen Williams at the New York Jets. His experience in various defensive systems shows that he's adaptable and knowledgeable about the nuances of pass rush and coverage. The idea of promoting from within is appealing because it offers continuity, something that can be beneficial, especially after a turbulent season like 2025. Yet, make no mistake, this would be a tough sell to fans and analysts alike. The defense was historically bad last year, and many are questioning whether Whiteketon, despite his impressive resume, can turn things around quickly enough. Still, his familiarity with the current roster and his past success in different defensive schemes suggest he could be a dark horse candidate worth considering deeply. Sometimes, internal promotions bring a spark of familiarity that can help stabilize a team in transition, but the real question remains: will that be enough to fix the Cowboys' aerial vulnerabilities? Now, let's take a step back and analyze what all of this means within the broader context of the Cowboys' recent history and their current season. The 2025 campaign was, without a doubt, one of the most disappointing in recent memory. Expectations were sky high after a solid 2024, where the team showed flashes of dominance, especially on offense with Dak Prescott leading a high-powered attack. But the defense, particularly against the pass, was a sieve. The 276 passing yards surrendered was not just a statistical anomaly. It was a symptom of deeper systemic issues, poor scheme execution, personnel mismatches, and perhaps a lack of innovative coaching. Looking at the defensive personnel, players like Micah Parsons and Darian Kendrick are expected to be the anchors, players with star potential who can change games. But even the best edge rusher or cornerback can't do it alone if the scheme doesn't put them in the best position to succeed. The coaching staff's inability to adapt to the offensive threats they faced last season was evident. Opposing quarterbacks exploited predictable coverages, and the lack of a cohesive pass rush only magnified this problem. As a result, the defense became a liability, dragging the entire team down and making it impossible for the offense to carry the load. The decision to search for a new defensive coordinator signals that the Cowboys front office recognizes these issues and is willing to make a bold move to fix them. It's a classic case of trying to address the root cause instead of just patching over the symptoms. The emphasis on past defense expertise suggests they are seeking a tactical change, perhaps a shift to more aggressive blitz packages, more complex coverage schemes, or a focus on disguising coverages better to confuse quarterbacks. Whatever the approach, the goal is clear: to build a defense that can handle the league's best aerial attacks, especially with the playoffs approaching and opponents like the San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, and even AFC teams like the Kansas City Chiefs or Buffalo Bills looming. This coaching change also raises questions about the team's overall defensive philosophy. Are they leaning towards a more aggressive, blitz-heavy approach? Or are they aiming to simplify coverage schemes to allow their talented players to play more instinctively? The choice of coordinator will undoubtedly influence the team's identity moving forward. For example, if they hire Leonhard, known for his innovative and flexible defense, the Cowboys could shift towards a more modern, hybrid style that emphasizes confusing quarterbacks with disguised coverages and creative blitz packages. On the other hand, White might bring more stability and familiarity, perhaps leaning on techniques he learned during his tenure with the Jets, emphasizing disciplined coverage and a strong front to support the secondary. Now, what about the impact of this decision on the upcoming season? Well, if the Cowboys manage to secure Leonhard, and there's a lot of positive buzz about him, expect an immediate impact. His reputation as a coach on the rise could energize the locker room and bring a new level of tactical discipline. The defense's potential to improve is significant. With the right schematic adjustments and personnel development, Dallas could see a marked improvement in their pass defense, transforming a liability into a strength. And let's not forget, the NFL is as much about scheme as it is about talent. A creative defensive coordinator can elevate the play of even average players, turning them into difference makers. But the stakes are high. The team's decision here isn't just about one season, it's about setting a strategic foundation for the future. If they go with White, they might opt for a safer route, banking on internal familiarity and continuity, but that comes with its own risks. Can an internal promotion truly turn around a defense that was historically bad last year? Or will the Cowboys need to make a splash with a recognized innovator like Leonhard to truly shake things up? These are questions that every Cowboys fan is asking right now, especially as the offseason unfolds and the draft approaches. Speaking of the draft, how does this coaching decision influence their strategy? Well, a new defensive coordinator, especially one with a more aggressive and innovative scheme, might prioritize different positions or players in the upcoming draft. For example, if Leonhard's defense emphasizes the importance of versatile safeties and hybrid linebackers, the Cowboys might target those positions early. Conversely, if White is more conservative, the team could focus on bolstering their pass rush or secondary through different avenues. The draft, free agency, and internal development will all be influenced by who gets the job, making this coaching search one of the most critical decisions of the offseason. Let's also consider the broader league context. The NFL is increasingly dominated by high-octane passing offenses. Teams like the Eagles, Chiefs, and Bills have shown that aerial attack prowess is often the key to playoff success. The Cowboys, with their storied history of strong defense, are trying to recapture that glory by modernizing their schemes. The hiring of a coach like Leonhard could be a strategic response to this trend, embracing a more dynamic, hybrid defense that can adapt to multiple offensive styles. Conversely, sticking with White might suggest a more conservative approach, banking on discipline and execution rather than scheming. In terms of fan reactions, the excitement is palpable. Cowboys fans are no strangers to coaching debates. Remember the debates around Mike McCarthy's schemes or the controversy over defensive coordinators in past years? The anticipation of who will be the next DC is generating buzz on social media, with some fans calling for bold moves and others advocating for internal stability. The coaching search also impacts locker room morale. Players are eager to see who will be leading their units next season and what kind of schemes they'll be asked to execute. Micah Parsons, in particular, will be watching closely. His ability to rush the passer and cover backs and tight ends makes him a key piece in any defensive scheme. Now, let's project a little into the future. If the Cowboys hire Leonhard and he manages to implement his vision successfully, what could that mean for the 2026 season? Well, we could see a defense that is much more aggressive, more adaptable, and better at defending the pass. This could translate into more turnovers, more 3-and-outs for opponents, and an overall boost in team confidence. It might even allow the Cowboys to close out games more effectively, especially in tight playoff battles. On the flip side, if they stick with White, they might prioritize stability and familiarity, but risk missing out on the innovative edge needed to compete with the league's elite. Looking even further ahead, this coaching change could influence the franchise's long-term trajectory. A successful hire might position Dallas as a defensively formidable team for years to come, attracting free agents and draft prospects eager to play in a cutting-edge system. It could also impact the development of their existing stars like Micah Parsons, who thrives in schemes that allow him to rush the passer and play coverage. The right defensive coordinator could unlock his full potential and make him a perennial All-Pro. As we wrap up this analysis, I want to emphasize that this decision isn't made in a vacuum. The Cowboys front office, led by Jerry Jones and his staff, is weighing their options carefully, knowing that the wrong hire could set back their ambitions. The NFL landscape is fiercely competitive, and every detail counts. The coaching hire will shape their identity in 2026 and beyond, influencing everything from game plans to player development to fan enthusiasm. Now, I want to leave you with a question. Do you think the Cowboys should go all in with a bold, innovative coach like Jim Leonhard? Or should they prioritize internal continuity with Aaron Whitekitton? What do you believe would give them the best chance to succeed in the playoffs and maybe even bring home that elusive Super Bowl? Your opinions are what make Cowboys Nation so passionate and special, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading every one of them, and remember, the offseason is just heating up. There will be draft picks, free agency signings, and more coaching news to come. So stay tuned, because I'll be right here breaking down every move, every decision, and every game plan for the Dallas Cowboys. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our beloved team. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal. Now, let's get into the real meat of what's happening right now, who's actually in the running, what their strengths are, and how their philosophies could reshape the Cowboys' defense. The landscape is dynamic, and every move could be pivotal. The NFL is a league of adjustments, and the Cowboys are clearly looking to make the biggest one yet, changing their entire defensive approach to finally get over the playoff hump. With this coaching search, they're not just filling a vacancy. They're setting the tone for the next era of Cowboys football. In conclusion, my fellow fans, this coaching search is more than just a personnel change. It's a statement. It shows that the Cowboys are serious about evolving, about adapting to the modern NFL, and about reclaiming their status as a defensive powerhouse. Whether they choose Leonhard or Whitekitton, one thing is clear: the offseason promises to be exciting, and the stakes have never been higher. So keep your eyes tuned. Stay engaged, and let's see how this story unfolds. The future of Dallas Cowboys defense might just be on the verge of a renaissance. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this coaching search? Do you believe Leonhard is the right guy to lead the defense into a new era, or do you trust the internal option more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys.